Major League Journeyman, we got a great episode for you. And additional, right before we jump into the play-in games for MLS playoffs coming hot off decision day. Who do you think was the biggest idiot, Dax or Gordo? We're going to find out. Jump in. Major League Journeyman reporting live, Daniel Gargan alongside my former solo co-host of the Gargs and Gordo show. Gordo, you actually may get a word in. Dax is not joining us. Are you excited? Do you have your windpipes? Are you warmed up? Are you ready to talk? Because you actually may get asked a question today.
I mean, there's no chance I can talk as much as Dax, but I'm going to do my darndest here. I, I know I got a lot of dead space to take up, and I got
Oh,
to probably talk about myself a little bit, which is uncomfortable for me. But if I'm going to be Dax, we don't want our listeners missing out on that.
no, no. The I think you actually should refer to yourself in the third person. That'd be fun. Could we just go with that today?
Yes, all day.
All day. Well, Dan Gargan introduces you, Alan Gordon. I think we'd be remiss to not start with Decision Day because we did hype it up and pump it up pretty hard, and we also got called out pretty hard by our good friend Omar Gonzalez, who, after we had already crowned the LA Galaxy the king of the West, and sure enough they were dethroned in thrilling fashion. Were you able to catch the end of that game?
I watched the entire thing.
You watched the whole thing.
I watched the whole thing, and the end, my friend, is exactly what we were talking about. And none other. There's the storyline on this. Daniel Steres, Mister, what did we
Mm-hmm.
call him? What was his nickname? Steady Eddie, Mister Steady Eddie for the
Uh-huh.
Galaxy.
Yep.
They outcasted him to Houston, and he
Yep.
goes and absolutely ruins their season up until this point. Up until this point, he ruins their season. And I text him. I'm like, I'm happy for you, buddy. He's like, now I get a little bit of taste of what you used to do to your former teams, and
Oh my God.
was it special and does it feel good? So happy for Mr. Stairs.
Dude, that actually, can you just talk a little bit about that, of what it feels like to score that goal? Because I think that you, maybe more than anybody, can speak to both sides of it, but I also think that you did it a ton. I was able to do it one time. And so I can speak to it because I got traded from Toronto to Chicago. And when I left TFC, I think we were in 11th in the Eastern Conference, and I got traded to Chicago, who was in 12th in the Eastern Conference, and I was jumping for joy, for a lot of the reasons that we've talked about in the past. But we also played TFC 2 weeks later. It was my first start, and I scored a header at the back post, and walked down the sideline in front of the TFC staff, and looked at all of them and mouthed, "How the fuck you like me now?" And it felt better than anything that I could honestly tell you. And I know that you've gone through this so many times, but just talk to me about the emotion that comes along with that, and right when you realize that that ball is in the back of the net.
There's truly no feeling in the world that I have experienced, and I'm sorry to my kids, but not even when they came out of the womb what did it feel like it feels when you put one in late to win it, just like that. I mean, the entire, however many people are in that stadium, there's not one of them whose attention is not on you and cheering for you. I mean, I guess the other team is not,
Oh,
but
they're
it it
defeated.
it's deafening. Everything slows down. You almost don't hear anything at all. It's pure joy. It's I would like to see the adrenaline spike that you get,
Uh-huh.
because no drug, and I've done most of them, can get you up to that level so fast. It's pure enjoyment. I remember, I'm just going through in my mind, You remember when we celebrated that Houston goal, me, you, and Ishi in the corner? I mean, it's
Oh
just
yeah.
your whole team is going just elated because they're exhausted. You
Yep.
know,
You've
you're
given literally everything you could possibly give. You don't have
every
anything more. That's why players literally fall over after games because you are pushing through so many boundaries where you're just like, nope, 10 more seconds, one more run, two more passes, whatever those things are. And then you're dead.
and then you're dead. I never was because I was only playing for like
Well,
90
you were
minutes.
fresh. You
Yeah,
only
I
had
was I was
7 minutes.
totally fresh. But do it for your teammates. And then everything after you score, it's the celebration. It's that super high. And then when all the players, you give all the hugs and all the kisses and all that stuff, these things creep into your mind. Like you're like, how the F do you like me now? Like
Yes.
and it's this weight that you didn't know you had in your body that somebody broke up with you, your girlfriend broke up with you,
Mm-hmm.
and you're saying, I am on top of the world right
Not broke up with
in
you,
front of your
like
face.
dumped you publicly, put it all over their MySpace page that they have a new boyfriend
And
and
said you had an STD. Right. And it's like, and all those things you start as you're walking back to the middle, dude. And you were just, it's indescribable the amount of, you feel light as a feather. Like you
uh-huh.
feel like every bit of angst and pressure and and everything and anger is gone. It's just gone. Even if you didn't even know you had it, it's
Yeah.
gone. You are on cloud nine. That's probably why they say that, because you are floating. It's an out of body experience. It really is, dude. And you're just looking around and people are going bananas, dude.
Bat
Bananas.
bat shit. I mean, it's such a cleanse. There's so many different like points of the celebration too, because it's like almost like disbelief. Did it go in? And then you're checking around to making sure it did go in because you almost can't believe it. You're like, did I just do that? And then you get to the point where you're celebrating. So it's complete euphoria. And then you're getting tackled because
Yep.
everyone else can't believe it. And then the different layers of like cognitive realizations creep in.
Yeah.
And that's where like when which was your favorite? Do you have a favorite? Because then there are layers to these goals too. Like as much as like yes, and you've done it multiple times where you've scored in that moment to seal the victory or pull it back or to win points back, whatever it is, which are all they're all incredibly valuable. But when you add on the other layer that like you're playing against your former team, what there's got to be one that stands out for you.
I mean, the one it's pretty clear just because of the total magnitude of the game and how it happened. It was against my former team. It was against the
Uh-huh.
Galaxy
At
at
Stanford
Stanford
Stadium.
Stadium.
Yep.
I scored the first goal, and you get it, and then we go down. Then we go down to 10 men, and we're down 2-1, and we scored two in stoppage time. Mine was like the 97th minute, and there was
Uh-huh.
70,000 people there, and it was just like we didn't even believe it because the Galaxy were so good. They ended up winning the cup and were fantastic all year. They could have scored 8 goals, right, but didn't put them away, and we just crumbled them, and you know buddy. I mean that feeling lives on forever,
You
forever.
get no one can take it from you.
No, no, and this is going to be something that Stairs looks back on, and anybody that scored a late goal, and regardless of how your career ends, you're like, that was my moment. That was
Yeah.
that was my moment right there. That was pretty freaking cool, dude. And his little kid was in the stands. You see all these pictures, and it is a memory that will last the span of time.
And I mean for Steris too, like what a story for him. You know, like he was the the captain of Los Dos for as long as he was to work his way up through the Galaxy system and then get sent to Houston, which it happens to players all the time, right? But to carve out a spot for himself against Houston, you know what? I cannot okay any player that says that they don't have extra motivation playing against their former team. That's the biggest load of trash that comes out of any professional athlete's mouth. It's
It is.
nonsense.
It is nonsense. And I always loved scoring against my former teams. And
It's
I loved it. It's great.
maybe that says something about me and you. Like I don't know, but
You
I'm
gotta
quite
have
okay
that.
with it.
But hey, most athletes at the top level have our mindset. It's like, all right, like let's see now. Let's see now. But I gotta tell you a funny story. So I'm watching this with my boys. My boys have the Galaxy, it's documented, right? My boys got the Galaxy stuff on. It's dude, goals are getting traded. We finally go up, and just me being me, Houston has the ball and they're not crossing it in. And I used to get furious. It's just like, dude,
Uh-huh.
dump it in.
Yeah.
I go,
I'm here.
I go, serve the ball. And then he does it and they score. I go, why did I say that? Yeah, like he's
Your boy
fucking
Reese had to be pissed.
he
Jack's
was,
definitely punching you.
yeah, he's like, why would you say that? I was like, dude, it was instinct.
You're right.
I just like
You're just watching the game. It's instinctual.
serve it,
Right.
like give him a chance. And yeah, it was really poorly judged by the Galaxy defender. He's sitting there waiting, and Steers just comes right across him and just
Dude,
glances at
you
him.
cannot wait for those things.
Man,
You
you
can't. It's like
can't.
a cardinal sin,
Oh, dude.
especially at that time in the game. Oh my God. Well, you are an idiot. Actually, maybe you're not an idiot. We'll see. I'm interested to see how you talk your way out of this one. You had also given Vanny Coach of the Year because the Galaxy won the Western Conference, which they did.
Yeah.
Still, listen, still an absolutely incredible year for the Galaxy. Still an incredible about face transformation for Greg Vanny. Are you still giving him Coach of the Year?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I
No,
can't
come on. You can't.
listen. We tech you sent me a very snarky text about
Yes,
this, and I said, listen, I don't judge a body of work by one goal. Okay,
but that's what
it's a
awards are for.
listen. It
What
doesn't
are you
negate
talking
it
about?
doesn't negate the fact that they were virtually in last place, didn't make the playoffs last year, and they made
Mm-hmm.
this incredible run
Mm-hmm.
where, you know, they were, gosh, it's so disappointing to even talk about it because
You can't. You actually don't have an argument. Just put your white flag up and say, you know what? Yeah, I screwed this one up. I can't give Greg Vanny the head coach of the year.
it
You're
was
going to give it to
incredible.
him over Tata Martino, who just set the points record.
Looking back on it, no, I'm not. I'm Tata deserves it. He deserves it. But Greg Vanny did a phenomenal job with the Galaxy, dude, and it's good to be almost on top.
Almost close. You know
Almost.
the best part about this? If my memory serves me correctly, in 2014, the LA Galaxy also lost the Supporters Shield on the final day of the regular season in Seattle. And what ended up happening?
We went there and we smacked them. We smacked
That's
them,
right. That's
and
right. So,
this will hopefully give them that edge that they
mhm.
probably need in the playoffs. To maybe make a deep run. And so sometimes you need to get hurt to have some success, and maybe this is it for them.
I thought the same thing, man. You can't put a value on motivation that comes from pain.
Yeah.
It's so incredibly valuable. And when it comes at that time of year, like you're just dying for something to push you a little bit further because these margins get so much tighter and so much thinner. And the Galaxy may have had that. They may have that. We'll see. It's going to be an interesting Western Conference. The other two things that we probably need to touch on regarding Decision Day, um, my vote, and I think your vote for MLS MVP, Lionel Messi, scores a hat trick in 11 minutes, 78th, 81st, 89th, to put him on 20 goals and 10 assists in 19 games and also break the single season points record after being down 2-0 to New England and coming back to win 6-2. Is there any doubt in your mind that Leo Messi is the most valuable player in the league?
No. And Dax should be here so we can whip him with a belt because
Yes.
he's the true idiot.
He
Because there's there's no doubt. There's no doubt that he has been phenomenal. Phenomenal. And to miss 8 games after the run that he had with the World Cup and everything else and Copa America and all that stuff, it doesn't play a factor into what he does do when he's on the field and has done for this town and the city.
Dude, it's insane. He is so ridiculously good. Also, at his age, the level he's playing at, for him to put up the numbers that he's putting up internationally too, which also I think really helps the credibility of Major League Soccer saying that no, Messi still is prime Messi because he is. The reality is he's putting up goals on the international stage in the same week and doing this week after week after week every single time he steps on the field. It's nuts.
Did you
It's
see the move he put on? He put somebody on skates. He
dude,
feints it
everything
and goes
he
to the left,
does.
and then he buries it from outside the box, dude. Like I'm unreal, unreal.
He's unbelievable.
I mean, listen, I'm with Dax. I think what Dax is saying, and I've said this so many times, like you can't give it to somebody just because of who he is. But this is not the case. This is not the case. If he would have won something last year or whatever, then I would have been upset, but this is
Mm-hmm.
clearly not the case. I mean, to miss 34 games, miss 8 games, it's still playing. Well, do you do the math? 26 games or so. I mean, that's a lot of games, dude. For a guy of that age, and it's well deserved, man. He should get it, and I'm glad that he did what he did because that should solidify it, even if he wasn't going to win it already.
There's no way he doesn't get it, but it does in my mind, and I think at least in the rest of the people's minds that maybe had a question mark, that puts nails in coffins. And the crazy part is like there's realistically, like we talked about, there's a lot of deserving candidates that have realistic resumes from this season that for argument's sake, don't hold a candle to Leo Messi. There are legit real stars in this league that aren't of the David Beckham's, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Leo Messi cloth. They're not cut from that cloth. It's the Dennis Bouangas, it's the Chicho Arangos, it's the Cuchos, it's the Lucho Acostas that are really kind of built and bred in Major League Soccer that are putting up crazy numbers and are deserving of MVP at minimum consideration that you just can't even consider. In my mind, it's not even the same contest, which is wild to say.
Yeah.
The other one that we need to touch on is Dax and why he's not here on his way to Montreal. Probably has arrived by now. In Montreal to play Joseph Martinez and the Montreal Impact. It is pretty nuts.
That
Pretty
is pretty.
nuts. It's
Another
poetic.
another storyline that decision day made, right?
Yeah.
It's the same exact thing. I mean, they get in with a late minute goal, and Dax gets one more shot at it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and anything can happen in the playoffs. And we talked about the motivation from players in their past teams. There's nobody that's going to be more motivated than Mr. Martinez, the king of Atlanta, the once king of Atlanta.
The king of Atlanta. How about that? He is, and now up against, I mean, up against a pretty significant mountain, but gets to play a game at home. Who do you got? Are you taking Montreal? Who are you taking?
I mean, I've said this before. I've seen this many, which is a 0 games of Montreal this year, and
Mm-hmm.
I've seen one too many games of Atlanta who haven't been great. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, I would have to take, no disrespect, I'd have to take the home team in this instance. Uh, However, I'm excited to watch it. I'm excited to watch it just because they get one more breath of life they didn't think that they would have. So there's
Hmm.
the motivation. Maybe it rallies them together. Anything can happen. You go there, you play an ugly game. I think they have, sometimes the away teams in these one-offs,
Yeah, they're hard.
have the
The
advantage,
pressure,
right?
right?
They're gonna just absorb pressure and then try to nick one on the other end and make it
Hmm.
super ugly. And
Which,
so
to be fair, Atlanta has that ability. They have the players on the field that they can nick one. I don't know. My concern is, do they have the resilience to sit there and absorb pressure for 90 plus minutes?
no, I mean you can't sit back too early. That's a mistake from any team. However, if they have a decent strategy, which I'm not sure they have all season, but if they
They're
can,
gonna have to be pragmatic, though. You don't think so?
no, they need to be, but it has
Yeah.
to be some sort of balance. I mean, you can't just take it. And I'm not, like I said,
Yeah.
I can't speak to what Montreal, their style or anything like that is. What I can say is that you don't want to give Martinez or anybody else up top any space because if he gets a chance, he typically buries them in big moments.
Dude, Joseph Martinez is a killer.
Killer.
And similar to what we were just talking about, Joseph Martinez, he's never going to come out and say that he wants to beat Atlanta, but you know damn well he wants to beat Atlanta in
Oh,
front of his new fans, continue to climb the scoring leaderboard and continue to do the things that he's been known to do. He's got motivation.
he does. It'll be fun to watch.
So you're taking the home team.
I'm taking. I mean, if I was going to take somebody, yes, but I'm not writing out Atlanta at all because, like I said, away teams are dangerous in these one-off playoff games.
And you know what the prize is for the team that wins this game?
They get to play Miami. They get to two, maybe three. That's Miami.
You know what you get on short rest? You get to go to Miami.
Yeah, you get to smack by Mr. Messi in the
Oh
end.
my God. Hey, listen, why might as well just extend that hotel stay in Miami because you ain't playing enough.
But
Oh
season
my
trip
goodness.
before the game, that's been done before.
Gee, well, they do have that will be a 3 game series, so you'll at least get you'll at least get a couple games, which is,
Two,
nice.
two. It's first to two.
First to two. Yeah, so that you at least get a couple games.
Yeah, you said three.
No, I said a couple. It is a 3 game series and it's first to two, so you at least get a couple games. Here, we're semantics here.
You
I'm
said three.
glad you did your research. I applaud
Thank you.
you, Gordo.
Thank you.
I'm
Thanks
proud
for
of you.
thanks for sending it to me.
The other side, two teams that finished tied with points, Vancouver, Portland. I know that neither of us have really invested a ton, but if you're going to pick anything out, it's in Portland and a
Why?
guy that, to be fair, Dax
Why is
has
it
talked in
important?
no in Portland
I know.
in
Why
Portland.
is it in Portland? Portland's the 9 seed, right?
That's what it says on the
On
site. I can't imagine that that's the case. Oh, you know what? They did finish in the 9 seeds. I did read this. Vancouver had an event booked at BC
oh,
Place, so they had to
ooh,
forfeit this game.
ooh. Ownership didn't believe. Oh
I don't know what.
no.
I think it's like a dog show or something.
Oh, Justin show.
We got to look this up. We should what would be the best thing that's being hosted there outside of an MLS playoff game?
I
And
think you hit it. Best in show would be pretty funny.
oh my God, how pissed are you if you're the players?
I'm super pissed. I mean, that's a big deal.
Why
I
don't you
mean,
go and host it somewhere else? There's nowhere else you could host it in Vancouver.
there's gotta be, dude. That I mean, I would put it in that small where the
What
white
about
caps.
Rob Friend's club, like Vancouver Isle?
Yeah, there's
Take it out
pretty big
there.
stadiums
Put it
out
in
there.
front of like 7,000 people.
That'd be dope.
Old school.
Old school.
And
Say,
they're going to Portland.
yeah, that's not a place you want to go. I mean, it's a
No.
hostile environment, you
Dude,
know?
that is It
The
is arguably the best environment in Major League Soccer.
yeah, it's crazy.
And Evander gets to sleep in his bed.
Right.
Wow. Well, somebody should be fired for this one. I don't know who it is in Vancouver, but someone may lose their job over this. Are you taking Portland?
Yeah, I'm taking Portland. I'm taking Portland. They got three guys that, they set a record. I think it's the
Mm-hmm.
first three guys that hit double digits on one team in one season. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
got that kind of firepower at home. I don't know. I need to look up what their record is at home. I think that's important.
If you're the head coach of Vancouver, do you think that you could flip this narrative of going on the road so that your team is so pissed off and put it on somebody that they are walking in there ready to kill people?
You have to.
You
You
have
have
to.
you
That's the
have
only way. But
it's only
are you coming out? Are you changing your approach and you're not playing on the road? You are coming out literally looking for blood.
Yeah, I mean that's what they need to do. I mean, obviously, they get skinned. Although, wait, you know what, dude? What if it's like a head to head? They're both on 47 points. What if it's like a head to head
No,
thing?
I'm pretty sure I read this. That Vancouver forfeited their ability to host the playoff game. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up right now because we
And
got
and Portland is 9-3-5 at home. They're
nine.
clearly a ton better. They're 3-8-6 away. I mean, talk about an absolute gem for them. And if they are having best in show in Vancouver, somebody should lose their job because this is
The Vancouver Whitecaps have forfeited potential home field advantage in the MLS playoffs wildcard round next week for a totally bizarre reason. Eighth or ninth, meaning they will enter blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Due to a scheduling
oh
conflict, the
wow.
Vancouver Whitecaps cannot host motocross.
Ooh,
That's bad.
that's bad.
That's bad. I still think that you keep it in the city, and I don't care. You played in a park.
Yes.
Figure out what the restrictions are that you need to make happen, and you never go to Portland.
Ever.
A Cascadia rivalry game, and you're gonna go to another. No way, no
They
way,
have
Jose.
triple the amount of wins at home versus away.
Can't do it. Can't do
Can't
it.
do it. No.
Someone should lose their job.
Yeah.
Oh God. All right. With all that being said, I'm taking Vancouver.
Okay. Okay, good.
I'm
Just
taking Vancouver.
motivation, just motivation factor.
Motivation. Yeah, motivation. Because someone will be, I mean, I can only put myself in that situation. I'd be furious.
So mad.
Furious.
What are we doing? This is
Walking on the field ready to kill people. That's where I'd be
the
at.
Taylor Twellman vintage. What are we doing?
What are we doing? Just go. You could get that a chant. You could put a beat on that and make that your locker room anthem. All right, let's go through the first round games and see what do you want to put on this? 100 push-ups?
I need them. That's for sure.
100 push-ups?
Yeah.
Do the playing games count?
Yes.
All
So
right.
I've already taken Montreal and Portland, the two home teams. You got
I'm
Vancouver.
taking I'm taking Montreal, Vancouver.
Okay. Dax is not going to like to hear this, and we're going to hear
Mm.
about it if they squeak one out.
I know. Montreal, Vancouver. You're taking Montreal, Portland. All right, let's go through them. LAFC and whoever, and the wild card.
Um, LAFC, dude.
LAFC at
LA.
home,
Yeah.
100%. So we're in alignment there. I don't see.
Anyway,
No, I don't see anyway. Don't see
and
it.
the same goes for Miami. I mean, Miami's going to run over whoever comes into
The
old
buzzsaw
Chase, old
that
old
is.
Chase Stadium.
Oh, geez. Honestly, I mean, I feel bad. I feel bad for. whoever walks out of the wild card to go down to see Mr. Leo. Okay, so we're taking Miami. Um, Seattle, Houston. That's an interesting one.
That is. I like the way Houston plays. I just watched them play against the Galaxy, obviously. I like the way they play. They got a good mix of dirty and
Mm-hmm.
grit
Mm-hmm.
and style of play. And they
Mm-hmm.
and they can score goals. They're
Mm-hmm.
dangerous on set pieces, so on and so forth. Um, I only want to pick Seattle because of their history, and I'm not going to do it. I'm gonna pick Houston.
You're going Houston.
I'm gonna go Houston.
I like that pick. I I do like that pick. Um, my heart, my heart does not want me to take Seattle.
Yeah.
But they're arguably the best defensive side in the league. And when it comes to the playoffs, they got more experience than most clubs and most teams that are in the playoffs right now. So I'm going Seattle.
Okay.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it,
I think
but
it's I think it's gross, to be honest.
I agree. I agree. I'm not happy with my decision, but it's one that I'm gonna have to stand by. All right, let's go over the other side. Eastern Conference, Orlando, Charlotte. This is kind
I'm
of an easy
going
one for me.
I'm going Orlando.
Yeah. I I don't I'm
I
I'm
don't
not
I
a
don't
believer
think
in Charlotte.
I'm not either. They
I
didn't do
just
enough. I'm thinking it's surprising they ended up in fifth. I mean, they jumped a few spots over the last couple weeks in the season, but I don't think they're gonna. Orlando's tough to play at home.
Dude, Orlando's tough to play at home. You just give up a result, and I think the best way to finish, right? I think Pareja is going to be on a war path, and I don't see that group. I don't know. I like them making a run.
When is
Um,
Pareja not on a warpath?
it's a good point. So,
One of the one of the
do you
Dallas
really need to give him any more motivation? And I think that like they want they want Miami because Pareja, to your point, wants he wants the biggest challenge out there,
Yeah.
and Miami in the next round is the biggest challenge out there, and I don't see them getting slowed down by Charlotte. Um, this is an interesting one. Real Salt Lake, Minnesota. Real Salt Lake hasn't been in great form, and Minnesota just smacked St. Louis to finish the season. Are you buying Minnesota?
I'm not. I'm not buying Minnesota. I'm I'm
Okay.
going I'm going Salt Lake. Even though you said what you said, I still think that some of these places, are tougher than others to go into and win games. Against my pick of Seattle, right? But we talked about that with Vancouver. Vancouver's going into a hostile environment. I think Salt Lake is one of the toughest places to play in the league. I,
I
I
would
really
agree. I would agree.
and so over a three stint, and plus knowing Pablo and how he goes about his team, how he motivates them, and how they grind, I think they're going to have enough to keep Minnesota at bay, and they do have special players. They got the one guy, and they got Luna. Uh,
They do have that one guy.
I is it Chicho or Chucho? I don't know. It's Chicho,
Chicho.
right?
There's so many,
Chicho.
there's so many
There's a
Uchos
there's,
and
I didn't
right
want to say
now.
Chucho because that's Dax's guy up in Columbus. So I mean they got Chucho. He can provide special moments. That's what he's proved. And so for that reason, that's why I'm picking Salt Lake.
Um, I I agree with you. And I don't really have much to add there. I can't really buy into Minnesota. They've been so inconsistent and they've dealt with an awful lot this year. I think that if I'm gonna if I'm gonna stack any chips on further for Salt Lake, the environment is a huge one. Pablo is a huge one. Chicho Rango being out of form, but coming into the playoffs and having experience in the playoffs, and him kind of having enough time to get back into it. He doesn't, I don't know if he, really is fully clearly in rhythm. But you got a group that's dangerous. So I'm going Salt Lake. All right, there's not going to be any splits there. Fine. Um, this is a tricky one. This is a tricky one. Cincinnati, New York City FC.
I don't know, buddy. I don't
I
know.
don't
I
I
think
don't feel good.
I don't feel good about Cincinnati either.
I know, I
You know,
know, I
it's like
know. I feel like
this
there's like just weird juju around them right now.
this is the flattest they've been in 2 years, probably coming into these playoffs. Um,
Which like is this actually a good thing? Is this a good thing for them? Because like we've come to now expect them to
Getting
do,
under the radar.
yeah, to be like at the top and pushing things and being super exciting, and they've been those things. But it's now almost like commonplace, like we expect it from them.
I mean, you still got Acosta, dude. You
Yeah,
still
no
got Acosta.
kidding.
I mean, they have they have goal scorers. They have 10 goal scorers, or
Dude,
they got three.
they finished behind Columbus and Miami. Like we're after coming off of a Supporters Shield season and dealing with all the shit that they've dealt with, all the injuries that they've had. They're still a real team.
They certainly are. Yeah, they certainly are. I mean, you got Rodriguez, Martinez.
No, I'm taking Cincinnati. You can take whoever you want. I'm taking Cincinnati. I got Pat Noonan. I got Chris Albright. I got Lucho Acosta. I got Kenny
Pat,
Arena, who's got more
Pat,
rings on his
Pat,
finger as an
Pat
assistant
Kinney.
coach.
Three of those
Dom
guys
Kinnear.
don't play on the field. And four of those guys now. Keep adding.
No,
Those are the only guys you know that are your age.
yeah, that's who I got.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go Cincinnati.
No, I like the young kid too. That plays up top for him. Left. He's their left winger. And who's the other kid that just scores all the goals? The left winger, left back. What's his name? Drawing a blank. Drawing a blank. Dax, where are you when we need you?
Kelsey,
Huh? No,
Kelsey.
Kelsey's a young kid. That's who I was talking about, the
Yeah.
forward. But the left back that scores all those ridiculous goals. Come on, dude. They just beat Philly. 2-1. Barea? Is that his name? Um Milasad. Oh, he didn't play. Is he hurt? Uh-oh. He might be hurt. Oriano. That's his name. He's a baller.
Oriana.
He's
10
really,
goals left back.
dude, he's really good. He plays in the wing. He's not really much of a defender. He's kind of like, well, I don't know. This has him listed as a forward
Yeah.
against Philly. I didn't see the game. They've moved him all over the place. But okay. So you're going Cincy or you're going New York?
Yeah, I'll go Cincy.
All right, well, I guess we got one change. All right, last two. These are, well, you saw Galaxy play Colorado in person, right? I think they won 3-1, 3-2 this year.
3-1, 3-2. There's really no reason for me to pick Colorado. There's not. However, I think this is a sneaky,
Tough
dangerous,
matchup.
yeah,
I do
sneaky
too.
tough. Because number one, it's tough to beat a team multiple times in one season, right? You've seen each other, same conference. And the game that they beat them 3-1 here, it was tight. It was tight most of the way. And I think they were up 1-0. And I think the Galaxy scored three unanswered. I think two of them were at the end of the game when it opened up and Colorado was pushing for a win. So, and one thing I do know about Colorado is how many ugly games did they win this year? A lot, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
think they could they could nick it. Now, do I think that they are a defensively stout team? No, I don't. But I think it's dangerous. I'm going to pick the Galaxy. I want to pick, I want to go ahead and I think it's stupid to pick the Rapids, but I don't think this is a shoe-in. I don't at all. I think this will go to 3 games.
I think you're right. I think it's going to be, and I think it might go later than 3 games. I could see this going to PKs in game 3. I could see this being
Absolutely.
a split. As much as I want to say that Galaxy has the home field advantage, and I think that they do, I don't think that it's that difficult for teams to come into LA and play well. I feel like teams do that because it's comfortable there. I feel like teams have been playing in that building for as long as they have, and they're able to find some type of groove, not necessarily groove, but maybe some a comfort level where it forces the Galaxy to break you down. And Galaxy are the Galaxy. They have the pressure on them. They're supposed to win. They're supposed to win big every single game. I think it's going to be a tougher series than the Galaxy want it to be, but I'm taking LA. The other side is I think it's going to be over, and it's going to be over early. I'm taking Columbus. I know that you're not. I don't think you're taking the Red Bull. Are you taking Red Bull?
No.
No. I don't. I think that I think
Columbus.
Columbus will be in the final.
You think Columbus is going to be in the final?
I do. I do.
Hey, what a
Um,
matchup that's going to be. I mean, listen, the top 3 teams in the East all have a shot at it. I know we weren't super high on Cincy, but like you said, under the radar, I think and I was more pointing to I don't know who would
dude,
match up with
Cincy Columbus in the next round
yes.
is gonna be a bloodbath.
It always is.
It always is.
They're always fantastic games. They're
Dude, these
multiple
playoffs are set up really well to put
yeah,
some really exciting matchups in place. It's
yeah.
gonna be fun. Apple TV free all weekend. I know
And
you're
then
not paying for Apple TV.
I am.
You got like 3 different people's passwords. Don't lie to me right now.
I, I think I didn't mean to sign up for it this time, but I think it auto renewed me. So I'm like, all right, I guess we just have the package forever.
I guess I'm back in forever
The auto renews are like the biggest scam on the face of the earth.
for every single subscription that's out there. All right,
Yeah.
journeyman, you heard it here. The only difference we're going with, Gordo, is Seattle, Houston.
So that's gonna
God.
make a break. No, and we got Portland,
Oh, and we
Vancouver.
got some playing games. We do have some playing games. That's true. Playing game, Montreal, Vancouver, Portland, and then Houston, Seattle. We're gonna have to take Dax's picks off to the side
Yes.
and post them publicly. All right, we'll see you out there. Thanks for joining.